What is up, guys? My name's Jackal. My voice is probably still real hoarse sounding, but I'm actually feeling great again. I've been sick for a couple weeks. Well, not really. I know I've talked about this in other videos, but there's been a bit of a gap for me, but got sick right after Christmas, felt shitty for like 24 hours, then just felt really tired and pretty much felt fine. And just like any time, this is how it always is whenever I get the flu. When I get the flu, like the real flu, I'm sick for like 24 hours. The body chills, the sensitive skin, the sensitive hair follicles, maybe I throw up, all of it. I have that for 24 hours. And then after that, I just feel tired for like 4 days. And then after that, I get a cough that comes in for about 5 days, 6 days. And then after the cough comes, the cough basically goes away. And then my voice is the last thing to go. So I will always start feeling 100%. And then all of a sudden my voice just sounds like caca-poo-poo. But it's been a while. I've been meaning to play games, and I wanted to play Kirby. I got some Bojack to talk about. And by Bojack, I mean my thoughts on what it was making me feel. Fighting this guy in the water is annoying. Hey, don't do that. Fuck you. Should have kept my sword. Big regret. Big regret. Now I want to beat this guy just to beat him. I should only have to hit him 2 more times. Oh, no. Throw. Ow. Nice. 1 more time, and he's good. Boop, 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 boop. Wow, that didn't actually hurt me. That's amazing. Bloop, 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 bloop. Oh, wait. Wow, I can just blow water at him? Clearly the more aggro approach. Alright, well, that was a giant waste of time. And I enjoyed every second of it. But I hope everyone's doing good. Oof. I didn't even do a proper introduction. We do retro games only around these parts. And because it's not my main series, Bojack Horseman is the little side discussion. Oh well. I don't really care about a one life that much. So yeah, what was this? Season 3, episode 7? Is that what this was? I know what happened in the episode. It was more just trying to remember like what the actual episode number is. I kind of get lost in the house after a minute here. Oh, I wanted to smash him. There we go. I was just very adamant about wanting to do that to them. Ow. Alright. But yeah, no, this episode of Bojack was a good episode. Like, it's not like it was a bad one, but it wasn't one of the better ones. Bojack was, though, getting a nice little therapy session, a much needed therapy session with the what was it? LA Gazette or whatever, the lady who was the closer, trying to get Bojack's goddamn subscription. She want him subscribing. All right. Where's the secret at? Let me get some kind of... Isn't the hammer over here? Let me get the hammer. I don't know why I want the hammer. Hammer should just be good. Oh boy. Oh. Almost. I almost messed it up twice. Sweet. Hammer time. All right. See what we can find. Whoop, 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 whoop. Whoa! Sweet. But yeah, this episode didn't leave me much to talk about. But one of the things that I did find to talk about was the yeah, that's what I needed it for. Duh. See, I knew what I wanted, and I didn't remember why I wanted it, but I knew why I wanted it. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying. Ah! Nope. I was too happy about the little bit of finesse that I had. But we have the switch. Time to go. What's in this museum? I forget. Whoop. What do we got in here? Do I need this for something? I guess we'll find out. But one of the things that this episode got me to think about was Bojack. Wait, was it him that said this? I actually can't remember who said this. I think it was Bojack. Oh, you're a dick. You're a dick. It was Bojack, because that was the whole point. There's this idea of... They discuss intimacy later on, at some point in the episode, towards the end. I thought I could smack him before he would explode. I'm going to need something here, and I don't remember what it is. But they talk about intimacy. And Bojack makes a comment that when you see somebody in their, like, purest form, I don't remember, I think he says, like, I don't remember the way that he puts it. But however he puts it, okay. Okay, let's just die real quick. Thanks, you're helpful. Ooh. Boop. Ugh. All right, fine, I'll beat the level. And then come back. High jump. That's what we call when I leap high into the air. All right, that did not work as intended. Oh, yeah, these... But Bojack brings up the idea that when you see somebody in their real, like, most vulnerable state, which with him is he's been sleeping with his publicist, but he doesn't really know anything about her. And obviously that's going to make Bojack and anyone, it would make them feel lonely after a little bit. So obviously Bojack is feeling some type of way about it. And that's understandable. But when he sees the kind of life that Anna lives on her own, it's just like a really bland, like, normal life. And he says that it ruins them. Like, that image ruins them or something like, or it like ruins the perception that you have of them. Almost like in a way of like, that idea of, don't meet your heroes, you'll only be disappointed. It's one of those things. And there's a certain amount of that that's true because, the point of that saying of, don't meet your heroes, they're always going to be a disappointment, or however the phrasing ends up going, is that usually when it's your hero, you have some sort of idea of them in your head, and most likely that image is going to be so big and so grand and so great because of what that person means to you, that that person's almost surely never going to live up to that image that you have of them. That's just how it is. What's here? Oh, this is lame. Excuse me. Peace. That was perfect. All right. Now this, I do believe, is the level that when I first tried to 100% this game at some point in my childhood, when I was probably, because I beat this game for the first time when I was like 4 or 5 years old. I beat this game at a very young age. And, but I never like 100%ed it. Like, I didn't even understand that. Like, I saw the number and I knew the percent got higher, but I didn't know why. It wasn't until I realized, like, I got to be like 7 or 8 that I put 2 and 2 together on when the doors didn't turn white. That meant that you had not found the switch that was in that level. So when I actually went to like 100% this game, I'm going to grab this because I don't know if I need it. I forget. I don't know if I could have done that with the fireball. I don't remember. But this is the one that took me the longest. And I don't even remember how I first found this. But you blow this up here, and there becomes a door that's right here for you. Or wait. Peace. I think that was the one that took me the longest to find. Is realizing that where it exploded in that bomb went off in the ship. Like, I wasn't old enough to realize that you were literally making a hole and that's why it was flooding. Like, I wasn't able to put 2 and 2 together about that when I was a real wee chap. When I was a wee child, I didn't understand that sort of thing. And I think I figured it out just by dumb luck, I think. But, I think that was the one that I finally beat to get 100% in this game for the very first time. Yeah. But, like I was saying, that's the reason that phrase about, not meeting your heroes is the thing. Because your hero's just not going to live up to the image that you have of them in your head. Because for whatever reason that, whatever they did resonated with you, they're going to be, a person that's potentially beyond reproach for you for whatever reason. And you just got to remember that, a lot of your heroes are prone to the same, dumb behaviors that everybody else is prone to. No one's safe from it. No one, ever. Squat. But it shows that the fundamental, negative view that I think this comes from a lot of self-image problems that Bojack has. Because inside, Bojack is still kind of a shitty person. Ooh, he is rock solid. He ain't moving. That's 2 lives. Guaranteed. But Bojack's a shitty person. And the way that his life is always even more perfect. Oh, Lord have mercy. The big guy was fully enclosed. That is mwah. Finally, my first 4-crane life. Dope. Alright. What's the secret in this level? But yeah, no, everybody has to have, a little bit of, death of the artist in them that they have to realize. And a lot of people have to, really do have to figure that out at some point or another in their lives. But I really do think that the reason that Bojack has that is just that fundamental negative view that a negative but also very self-aware view that he's not a very good person. So he thinks that, the way that a lot of his relationships have gone, where, like with Wanda, you didn't know me, then you fell in love with me, then you got to know me. And I think Bojack is just perpetually stuck in that position where that's happening because he's not a good person. And his view of that of other people is yeah, see, there's another crafty, sneaky one. Look at this. Suspicious ass looking square. That's why. Fucking game. It's that whack shit it tries pulling on you. But yeah, Bojack seems to project the fact that because he's not a good person, and, with Wanda, when she got to know him, and that kind of, soured their relationship, which it didn't really. It did, but that's a bit simplistic. There was a lot of self-sabotage going on in there, which, oof, is a whole other thing when it comes to fucking Bojack. Alright, well. That was worth a shot. But no, that just comes from that really just negative view that Bojack has on everyone because he's that way, so he imagines that everybody else is also that way. Oof. And ultimately, I mean, that's where he's wrong. And that's going to be what inevitably is going to probably ruin what's going on with Anna, because it just doesn't seem to go that well. But it does bring up intimacy. And, you know, I mean, everybody does have different levels of intimacy that they are comfortable with in their lives. Ooh, two difficulty. Oh, wow, what a dick. I watched him do that. Like, that was in slow motion. My body did not react in time. All right. I'll have to remember that if I do that again. I think I'll have one more in the next world. Fucker. No, I want my freeze for a minute. Look at the little picture. He's wearing a little parka. It's adorable. I don't even know if that's what those are. I have no idea what, like, articles of clothing that aren't shorts, t-shirts, pants are called. Because I dress like a schlub. No. Not doing it. Not doing it. Fuck out of here with that shit. Aw. I thought that would freeze him, not do whatever the fuck that was. What up, though? But everybody has like a different level of intimacy that they're willing to have him put up with. And it's hard to know where that exactly is for everyone. You just gotta kind of figure that out. But the idea that it ruins somebody is something that, like, you can't think of, like, oh, when I'm really seeing this person in an intimate way, it's gonna ruin my image of them. Like, that's fucking weird. Because then that puts you in a position where you're, like, always... Jeez, so much mess up for that. Oh, I pushed the button and I don't care what this game tells me. All right. Let's not mess this up. But the idea that when you, like, get to see someone in their most intimate state, that ruins them, that's dangerous, because what that's going to end up doing is you're going to end up being the kind of person that never truly opens up to anyone else. Which, you know, that whole thing in its own is like a huge trope of toxic masculinity. Like, the inability to just open yourself up to someone as a dude. Especially with Bojack, who's just continuously through his life been disincentivized from really showing emotion. But then again, that is the problem. Most men are constantly discouraged from showing their emotions. It's why all of these red pill fucking psychology dudes, these fucking alpha males, fucking douchebags, always make big splashes on young men. Because they always come at you with that real heavy image of, like, you know, being a tough guy, not being the kind of guy that, you know, expresses his emotions in any real healthy way. And, like, bro, there's a reason why that dudes have a tendency to constantly scale up higher for rates of suicide, rates of fucking substance abuse. And a lot of that just comes down to the way that we're just taught to bottle a lot of shit up. Like, it's not helpful. It's not healthy. All it is something that's taught to us by a bunch of old, taught to us by a bunch of old dudes who just, you know, they were taught that way, so that's why we're taught that way. And that's just the way that it is. But, you know, it just doesn't work. It just doesn't. And, you know, all these old guys will sit there and be like, oh, yeah, well, that's why our generation was so successful. No, it wasn't. That's why your generation fucking drank and fucking beat their wives constantly. You guys were successful on your own merits. Like, y'all were successful in your times and your generations for reasons that were, like, fine and dandy all on their own. Like, all right. I tried to do some extra style right there. I'm not going to lie. I tried to be real spicy with it right there. I tried to see if I could freeze them and then hit the block in a way where I could, like, follow it. Nope. I wonder if the beam will work. We'll try them. What say you? But yeah, shit like that just doesn't work. It doesn't make you successful. It doesn't make you a tougher guy. Nope. And there's no recovery time in time for me to not die. All right. We're just going to beat the level, get a hammer, come back. Easy peasy, lemon twisty my nipples. Oh, I was not expecting that to catch him. Will this work? Oh, it does work. Yes. You know. Fucking 9/11, that thing. That's mean. It's very mean and rude. And also kind of funny still. Alright, whatever. I'm going right back to where the UFOs are. I'll just take another one. Aw. Sniped from under the platform. Peace. Just cheese right over them. We like to see it. We like to do it to them. But one of the things that, like, definitely you got to look out for is a lot of those, you know, the term is played out, you know, but, you know, the word is what it is. There's a lot of toxic masculine traits that usually involve the way that we express our feelings or the way that we accept intimacy or our ideas of intimacy that really can lead us astray. Because then everything becomes like a facade that you can put on for someone. Everything is always some sort of like front that you're always putting. You always got the representative up. You know, you never got the real person coming out to, you know, in any given time. And that's not really a way that you want to do shit. I mean, like, you can, and it'll work, but it's just not conducive for, like, any sort of real, meaningfully healthy relationships. Oh, wait, I forgot. This boss gives you a sword. I forgot about that. This was always the most epic shit when I was a kid. Shouldn't have slid into him. I was actually making him sweat a little bit. I could feel it. Fuck out of here. Whoop. Peace out. First fight with Meta Knight. I don't even know if that was Meta Knight at the time. I really don't know. I don't know Kirby lore. Rainbow Resort, the last level. But no, just, you always got to watch out for, you just got to watch out for the ways that we've been taught how to express ourselves, and in what way that really affects not just us, but the way around us. I mean, like, you even have comedians like Bill Burr who talk about, you know, when he had to give up his dog, and how, you know, that basically was something that ended up poisoning, you know, a good part of his, you know, his life, because when he had to give his dog up, he just sat there and fucking repressed the whole thing and just smashed it down. The moment he even makes a joke, like, the second he felt a tear coming up, he fucking sucked that bitch back inside and wondered, you know, oh, I wonder who I'm going to take this out on later. And, you know, it's good that a comedian is pointing it out and making jokes about it. But at the same time, like, that's for real what a lot of people do. But they don't have an outlet for it that allows them to pull anything out in, like, a real way. It always ends up being something that's like you lash out at someone. It's not something that's dealt with healthily. It's not something that, you know, we talk about with friends in any sort of meaningful way. Now, I, on the other hand, fuck that. I talk about a lot of things in my personal life with people close to me that are bothering me. I take times out of my life to fucking have a good cry about something when I need to have one. And I make no apologies for that. Fuck that. You'll hear people telling you that you can't, cry and be any sort of man. Man, fuck anybody telling you anything like that for any reason. It is 5:30 in the morning. Why is my girl's 14-year-old son up combing his hair? I wonder if he took another shower. And that's what he was doing. He's got to stop taking showers and fucking beating off. I get it, he's 14, but still, damn. But there's a lot of people, there's a lot of, dudes out there who are, claiming to, be helpers of men, I guess. I don't know how to word this in a way, leaders of men who will sit there and pull out the same old tired tropes of what, a real man does. And the thing is that, we look at the generations of the past. I mean, it's still common now, but like, we look at all the movies from like the 50s and 60s and shit. Husbands were constantly beating the shit out of their wives. Just front hand to backhand and back to front hand. It was a huge trope. And it's not just a trope in media at the time for no reason. It's because it's reflective of the society that they were a part of. And those things were much more common back then because that's how men always lashed out. Because they had no outlet for anything. They bottled everything up until something made them snap, and they would just lash out about it. And it's not healthy, and it's time that we move on. And, part of that comes with that is you cannot see the idea of letting somebody in to see the innermost you as something that's going to ruin someone's perspective of you. And I guess the only way to really deal with that is, especially if you're young and in school and, you're dealing with trying to have friends. It's weird saying this now at 31 because I know that, nobody watches this shit. Nobody's ever going to hear this. But if anybody ever watches this who's under the age of 18, they're going to hear me saying I'm 31 and imagine like, oh, wow, this guy's, the same age or maybe even older than some of my teachers. Now, there's a lot of your teachers that I'm going to be younger than still, so fuck that. But guaranteed, there's some of your younger teachers that you have in school, if you're listening to this, that at 31, I'm older than some of your teachers. And that's going to make, that seems like, wow, they're so old. Bro, I was in high school yesterday. Like, all that shit is fresh. Not all of it. I don't remember a lot of people. But, like, the feeling of, like, going through high school and the anxiety that I felt about who I was and where I fit in. It's a common trope. Everyone's tired of hearing it. But the truth is what it is. Most times, you're going to be better off just being yourself. Just learning how to be you in a way that's fun. Like, not everybody is born, the social butterfly. I'm definitely not. I'm like an abrasive smartass who says things that I probably shouldn't get away with saying, but I do. But I'm also very, like, especially at work, I'm very courteous for the most part, until it's like joke around time. I'm always very respectful to people. I always try to be, a little bit, light and mood lifty. I'm not just coming in with, abortion jokes the moment I walk into work. You got to start off by learning how to just be friendly, how to talk to people. Just learning how to open yourself up in a way that's real, in a way that's not just like, you don't want to think of it as like, if I'm not being the most abrasive version of myself, me personally, if I'm not having the driest, darkest sense of humor that I possibly can in every moment, I'm not being me. Because that's not really what it is. We all have multiple facets to us. And it's just learning how to kind of balance all of them in a real cohesive way. So you want to let your, real the business person, the receptionist, and also like the guy in the back. You want to find that nice balancing act between them. Where for me, I try to be, nice, fun, at work. But then also, I will say things that are a little bit edgier at work. Not as much as I will with my friends. But, for work, I'll poke and prod a little bit. And it's all in good fun. But just learn how to open up to people in most ways. And I hate it. This video is so long, and I haven't really said a goddamn thing. But just learn how to be... When I think of intimacy, I don't just think of intimate with, like, a person that you're dating. I just mean learning how to open yourself up in a way that's healthy. Because, especially guys out there, so many of us always have so much shit bottled up and hidden away that we just end up destroying ourselves just through depression and suicide and fucking substance abuse. And it's not good. People say that, when a guy and girl break up, the girl breaks up with the guy, she's fine the next day. The guy breaks up, he's upset about it for a month. And to a certain extent, though, that's not exactly wrong. I mean, women have always been, and girls are always raised to be more open with how they express themselves. So when things bother them, they're able to open up to people right away about it that they can talk to, and that it'll help them. And that's something that, with raising a son, I mean, my son's 5 now. And I guess I'll tell this last story before I go. This last week, a couple days ago, we brought my son over to his grandparents' house, his father's parents. And when he came home, we were asking him about, who'd you see? Did you see Grammy? You saw Grandpa? And we were just talking to him about, the different people that he was seeing there and who he was hanging out with. And I don't know if his grandparents even communicate with him who his father is. Because, usually it would come up like, oh, hey, go give this to your dad. But we were asking him who else was there, and he never said my daddy or dad. And my girl shows him a picture, his mother shows him a picture of his father and says, was he here? And our son said, yeah. Do you know who he is? Look, I got a harmonica. He didn't give a fuck about who this guy was at all. And, he's getting old enough to realize that, when his little sister is being handed to me, it's go to daddy. But for him, he's always called me by my name. Because, when I started dating his mom, I was just dating his mom. So he called me by my name, and that was it. And it doesn't bother me. The kid can call me that for as long as he wants. But I know he's getting old enough to realize that this is going on. So I want to make sure that I'm trying to have as open of communication as I have with him about how he feels, if that ever bothers him. Because me growing up without my father, my grandfather used to just tell me, oh, well, you shouldn't even want to see him. You shouldn't even want to associate with that part of the family. He didn't want anything to do with you. Which is true, but hearing that wasn't really helpful to how I was feeling about it. My dad was just telling me, well, this is how it is, and this is how you should be feeling about it. But that's not really listening to your kid on how they feel. And luckily, me growing up without my birth father around, now I've had communication with him since I was 18 or 19. And, I just talk to him once every few months or once every couple of years. It's really random how often I talk to this dude. Sometimes I don't talk to him for years. I mean, he went the first 19 years without ever talking to me. After that, everything's loose change after that. But, we just talk to each other an accounting of fingers and toes and, just nothing crazy. But when I was younger, I really could have used somebody who didn't grow up with their dad to talk to about it like that. And to a certain extent, I could have if I would have talked to my mom. But I was raised by a very old school machismo Mexican family. And, you didn't really talk about shit like that. And I just want my son growing up to have a better way. Because, I'm glad that in the world that we have now, women are finding new ways to live their lives the way that they want, where they're not being chained to being married and being a wife and being a mother. They want to be those things, fucking A. But also, there's room and space for you to do what you want. And I love that women have this new role in society. But, dudes haven't gotten that same sort of dealio. So, I want to make sure that, with my son, I'm raising him in a way where, I let him know that he's allowed to talk to me about, I ask him if, what he thinks about things, how something makes him feel. And, I try to let him know that, the ways he's feeling are, okay. It's okay for him to feel certain ways. I don't ever want to discourage him from crying out of either happiness or sadness. Of, genuine happiness or sadness. But I obviously don't let him cry when he's whining. Because, that's just something that little kids do. You don't give them what they want. They whine and cry. You discourage that. But when there'll be certain times where, his mom has a double shift at work. And he's just having a bad day. And he wants his mommy. Those are times that when he cries like that, I don't try to tell him, listen, don't cry. You have no reason to cry. I ask him why he's crying. And, he'll tell me, because I miss mommy. And it's you want to let him know, listen, I understand that you feel this way. And, I'm sorry that you do, but, mommy's at work, and she'll be back tonight. And if you're going to be in bed before then, you'll see her right when you wake up in the morning. So, yeah, just different thoughts on not just opening up, teaching people how to open up. It's kind of just what this episode of Bojack just kind of got on my mind. And I feel like it was all very incoherent. But, it is what it is. Nobody watches this shit anyway. It's garbo content. If you're here because this. Bum, ba ba bum, 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 ba bum, bum. You're here for this. You're not here for me. So, take it easy, y'all. Peace. Hey, get out of here. I don't care that I'm facing east. Fuck out of here. Take it easy, y'all.